I'm honored to be joined by Jim Hoft of Gateway Pundit fame and Maria, whose last name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. No offense. I can't roll the R.
Herrera.
But that brings us to what we're talking about, which is that you guys, which are consistently, I think, in like the top 20 websites trafficked in terms of news, especially in conservative media, you guys are expanding.
That's right.
Break the news.
This is big news. This is big news for Gateway Pundit. It's big news for the conservative community. I met Maria at a conference about a year and a half ago, and Maria is from Spain. She's an attorney in Miami. She's an immigration attorney, actually. She speaks fluent Spanish, of course. And she said, we need to start a website and get the conservative message out into the Latin community. That means Central America, South America, Spain. There's just not a voice there. And so we launched Gateway Hispanic today. I hope you check it out. You can go to Gateway Pundit. Well, of course, we're promoting it today. We have a wonderful video. And some of the most popular people in politics today are from the Hispanic community. And so anyway, I met Maria. She's fantastic. She goes on Univision, and the audience loves her. The hosts not so much, but we're really looking forward to this.
I was telling Maria we'll be nicer to her here in the War Room than they probably are on Univision, but I'm curious, what was sort of the drive behind you wanting to launch this? Is it just a push for actual true reporting covering, Latin America, or is it to court Hispanic voters? What are sort of your aims with this new endeavor?
Well, first of all, I was a big fan of Gateway Pundit to begin with. So
Aren't
when
we all?
I met him like, oh, are you the CEO of Gateway Pundit? I love it. So I was honored to meet Jean, and also because I see that there is a real need to have conservative news introduced to the Hispanic community. People really want to know what's going on in U.S. politics. They really want to understand how these election integrity election rules work, and they are pro-life, they're pro-border security, and nobody wants to talk about that. So we want for them to understand what's going on and vote the right way.
Yeah, no, and there are a lot of parallels, I think, between what has been happening. I mean, I look to Brazil. We always talk about how the populist movement is something that is global. It's not just contained to the borders of the United States, of course, underscoring the importance of borders. But when you see Bolsonaro getting, attempted thrown in jail for corruption, I think I've heard that playbook before. Yeah. What are your thoughts on sort of the similarities between what, the grassroots of Latin America versus the grassroots of people in the United States, what they want to see from their leaders?
Absolutely. I think what we're seeing is the same thing that people want all over. They want the freedom, especially they come from some of these regimes in South America. They come to the United States. They don't want communism. They don't want the socialism that the left is pushing. They don't want, this is what Maria really, she grabbed me when she said, they're not interested in sending their kids to school and have them come home, their little boys saying, I want to be a girl now. That isn't something the Latin community is into right now. And so it's all issue after issue. They really line up with conservatives. We just want to give them the voice because they don't have that opportunity, to find out the truth. Now they do.
Yeah. So is it really the gender, culture, warfare stuff that you guys are going to be honing in on? How are you guys going to cover immigration? What are some of your big focuses going to be?
So I think the Hispanic community is all about life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, and will be, of course, translating a lot of articles from Gateway Pundit, putting out the information that they need to defend themselves. Because as Jim was pointing, especially the Mexican community, Mexican American community, they don't want their kids to be taken away. They don't want their kids to come back with a different gender. And of course, if we focus on the Cuban and Venezuelan community, they're all about fighting communism. So depending on which state, we understand what they really want to know, what they need to know. But the whole idea is to make people understand their rights, and also to teach them to vote right, because I think they're mostly conservative, but they don't know yet.
And on that, a lot of the polls are showing that you're seeing massive demographic shifts in terms of Hispanics coming out to support Trump. I'm just curious from your perspective what you really think is propelling that. And I'm also inclined to ask you, what was it, a year ago you saw George Soros buying up what was a lot of Spanish language news outlets to try to really target that vote. Obviously, that's a key demographic, not just in its current size, but in its growing size, right? They are the new minority majority,
10 million
right?
in the past few years.
And they want to turn Texas blue, right? So are you trying to compete with that? In other words, do you think that this really boils down to information warfare, and that you guys are going to now be at the tip of the spear leading that battle, that crusade?
Absolutely. I think we will be. And So we're seeing that we will be competing with these different voices out there. And you know what is really fascinating about this venture we're starting too is we're going to compete with it in South America, because we have writers at Gateway Hispanic who are from Bolivia, El Salvador, Brazil,
primary
Argentina,
sources.
Yeah.
and they're right there, and they're going to be able to communicate what's going on, and they just don't have the truth. When they hear about Trump in South America, they're going to hear some, wackadoodle stuff that he's just this monster, or, Hitler.
No,
Nazi.
they're going to hear taxpayer-funded Voice of America coverage or CNN International, right?
Exactly. So we're going to counter all that, and it's a natural community for the conservatives, and we're excited to do this. I think it's going to be great, and just like you said, more and more people are coming to the conservative movement because of Real America's Voice in the War Room, and because they're just tired of this crazy stuff the left is pushing right now.
I tried pitching Rob Sig on me hosting a Spanish language show, but my high school Spanish, I did get a 5 on the AP, but I don't think it would. I don't think it would cut it. I am curious to ask you. You did say that you were an immigration attorney.
Yes, I am.
I'm just curious your thoughts on what we have witnessed under Joe Biden, not just from the illegal immigration perspective, but the legal immigration too.
Yeah, the backlog, it's insane. And listen, I'm an immigration attorney, but I'm also, I took an oath to defend this nation. I always say that, and we need more immigration attorneys like me, because what we cannot allow is, all these fake asylum seekers entering into our country, be released and never come back to court, or they don't have a chance for a path to become citizens. So what we see is organized crime.
Has Joe Biden made it easier for those quote-unquote asylum seekers to escape and not be held accountable or come back for their court
Of course, the Democratic Party is all about eliminating the not following the law, not implementing the law, and letting everybody come in without the proper vetting process. So to me, it's frustrating because they're real asylum seekers that deserve the protection. But the majority of those coming, they tell you from the beginning, we're economic migrants. We come here for opportunities. So how come you don't come here the legal way? And when you ask that question, they say, because it takes us 7 to 8 years. We cannot wait in China. We're not going to wait in Colombia. Okay, so
what countries do you primarily work with, and not even just in your case, but in general, and you see these skyrocketing numbers? Is it primarily Mexico? You just mentioned China. Do you work with a lot of Chinese nationals trying to come
Not
here?
really. I work mostly with Hispanic migrants, and to be honest, the sad part is that because Joe Biden gave the protection for Venezuelans and all these permits, these humanitarian paroles for people from Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti to come in. You know who's coming? Because there's no proper way to differentiate who's coming. The same people who are persecuting Cubans and Venezuelans in their home countries. They're the one asking for humanitarian asylum. And that's the problem that we have, because this administration has gone crazy. They want everybody here. And at the end of the day, we're being blackmailed by the worst human rights violators, by Nicolas Maduro, by Diaz-Canel. And this is what the Hispanic community is seeing. They're not helping the Hispanic community. They're perpetuating the violation of human rights.
Does the Hispanic community see what I think so often the left-wing media misses, which is that what is going on at the southern border is a humanitarian crisis being perpetrated by the cartels, by, as Trump would say, bad hombres, right? This isn't just about people seeking a better life. There is money, there is power that is propelling a lot of this crisis forward. Are you guys going to kind of help shine a light on that?
Oh, absolutely. I can speak for myself. Listen, at the end, what's going on at the southern border is also we see an increase of women being raped, kids being kidnapped. That's outrageous. This is happening under Biden. When Trump was in power, and if Trump comes back to power, he will prevent this from happening. Listen, there are all kinds of problems in Central and South America, and the way to do it is to force people to, protect women and children, not to bring them, not to separate families. So what they're claiming is that Trump separated family. That's not true. We have more than 85,000 children lost in America, more than in Mexico. That's something unheard of. So we need to fight. The Hispanic community is tired of being censored and being, victimized, falsely victimized. We're not victims. We come here and we succeed if you give us the right, tools to succeed. But if you allow us to come illegally, that's a death sentence for Hispanic, because they will never be able to get papers. And even though Joe Biden says, yeah, we're going to let everybody come in and get documents, that's false. I have clients being here 30 years. Nobody has done anything for them. Nobody will, because they came here the wrong way. And that's the reality.
Wow. That was an amazing interview. I look forward to reading. I will learn Spanish.
Right.
And I know you guys still at Gateway Pundit are obviously going to be charging ahead on whether it's vaccine injuries, January 6th stuff, you name it. Where I actually know what I want to ask you. What is sort of the Gateway Pundit, well, so shall I say, editorial stance or just approach to what happened with the assassination attempt? What are you really tracking and honing in on?
First of all, thank God. Thank God that we still have Donald Trump. I think I speak for millions of Americans, and I think we're living through this historic time, and I think that's what we're trying to report on. We are so fortunate to live at this time. We have no idea, just when the history books are written, and hopefully we'll be the ones writing them, the conservatives, just how special this time was. Donald Trump is a legendary leader, and we're very grateful, so we'll be covering that.
So if we want to get the news site, read regular Gateway Pundit, where can we go? One more time.
And then also gatewayhispanic.com. Gatewayhispanic.com.
Gatewayhispanic.com. There you go. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Have a good week.
Thank you so
Lovely
much.
to meet you.